In the late 1970s, President Jimmy Carter was facing a national energy crisis. To jumpstart America's clean energy transition, he issued tax credits. He created the Department of Energy, and on a sunny day in June 1979, he installed solar panels on the White House roof, sending a message: the future is renewable.
By the end of this century, I want our nation to derive 20% of all the energy we use from the sun. We will build a more self-reliant and a more secure nation for the generations to come.
President Ronald Reagan had other ideas. Pushing deregulation and fiscal conservatism, he decided cheap oil was a better bet than a costly experiment. His administration ended Carter's clean energy incentives and in 1986 removed the solar panels. Today, the White House is once again rolling back its predecessor's climate agenda. The Trump administration has canceled subsidies for renewable projects, lifted drilling restrictions on federal land, and is pressuring allies to buy more American oil and gas. So is history repeating itself? Not quite. A lot has changed. First, there's economics. Since the 1970s, renewable costs have dropped by 99%. Sun and wind are now the cheapest form of power almost everywhere. Fossil fuels have become an increasingly expensive habit. That's why Texas, oil country, not exactly Greenpeace headquarters, leads the United States in clean energy generation, and why Saudi Arabia, the kingdom of crude, wants half of its energy from renewables by 2030. When Riyadh is diversifying, you know the math has changed. Then there's the climate. In the 1980s, climate change was an abstract idea. Today, of course, it is reality. Extreme weather becomes less of a partisan issue when it knocks out your power grid, or burns down your home, or floods your neighborhood. And then finally, there's geopolitics. Fossil fuel dependence is a national security liability. Europe learned that the hard way when Russia cut off its gas supply after the Ukraine invasion. The US has fought multiple wars in the Middle East to keep the oil flowing. Renewables are immune from price gouging, from sanctions. They're not held in deposits within borders. You can't embargo the sun. No one controls the wind. The rest of the world is increasingly all in. India just hit its goal of generating half its power from renewables 5 years early. Between January and May, China added enough solar and wind power to generate as much electricity as Turkey or Indonesia. Now, Beijing still burns enormous amounts of coal, but it's also betting bigger than anyone else on the energy technologies that will dominate the rest of the century. So yes, new US policies may slow progress, but they aren't stopping the global momentum. And yes, fossil fuels will still factor in the switch to renewables for decades to come, but the question is no longer if the world will transition, it's how fast, and what role the United States will play in shaping it.